everyone, I'm Dina from simplyhomecooked.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make creme brulee. So let's get right into it. The first thing you want to do is separate the egg yolks from the egg whites. You're going to need a total of 5 egg yolks, and the easiest way to do this is to give the egg a good crack, press your thumbs into the center, and ladle the egg yolk back and forth, just letting the egg white drip right into a bowl, and then gently place the egg yolks into a separate bowl. The next thing you want to add is granulated sugar, and you're going to need a total of 1/3 cup here. I've tested the recipe with multiple different amounts of sugar. I've tried it with 1/4 cup. It was not quite sweet enough. I've tried it with 1/2 cup and it was a little too sweet for my liking, but if you have a sweet tooth and you like that nice rich sweetness, go for the 1/2 cup. But I found that 1/3 cup was the perfect middle. So once you've got your sugar into the bowl of egg yolks, get your large whisk it up very thoroughly, make sure everything's well incorporated. Oh, and I almost forgot, you're also going to need a little bit of salt here. Just add a pinch of salt to the sugary egg yolks. That salt's going to really help bring out more flavor and really balance out that sweetness. Now set aside the egg mixture and let's work on the cream. Bring a saucepan over medium heat and then add 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. You want the heavy cream to come to a slight simmer. Make sure it doesn't go to a boil. We don't want it that hot. Also, the type of heavy cream you use can determine the richness of your custard. I like to get the full fat, 40% fat heavy cream because, I mean, it's a creme brulee. Go big or go home. Go for that rich, delicious creme brulee. All right, once your heavy cream is nicely simmered, you want to start slowly pouring it over the egg yolks. And make sure to continuously whisk and quickly whisk the mixture to make sure that that hot cream does not cook the eggs. Because if you pour the heavy cream too fast and you're not whisking fast enough, your eggs might cook and it's gonna really suck. You're gonna have to start all over. Just mix very thoroughly until the last cream is in the custard. And then the most important ingredient, in my opinion, for the creme brulees is the vanilla extract. You could use vanilla beans, but not everybody has that. But I recommend if you're gonna put vanilla extract, get a good quality vanilla extract. And I have a really good one that I love that I'll make sure to link down in the notes. And you're gonna need a total of 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Just whisk it in and set it aside. Now you wanna bring about 7 cups of water to a boil, whether it's on your stovetop, in a saucepan, or in a tea kettle, doesn't matter. You just want some good hot water. Then line a 9 by 13 inch deep baking dish with a tea towel. You don't have to do this, but I recommend it because it kind of keeps the, what do you call them? The ramekins in place. Because as you're carrying it to the oven, they could maybe slide around and I could just see that as a disaster. So you don't have to, but I recommend putting that tea towel in there. It just holds everything in place and you just confidently waltz to the oven. Once you've got your tea towel in, you can start putting in your ramekins. And this recipe makes about 6 4-ounce ramekins. I like to put only 5 in there, and then that's when I start adding the boiling water, just because you leave a little bit extra space so it doesn't splash, so the water doesn't splash into the ramekins. Once you've got all the hot water in, add in that last ramekin. Now this next step is not crucial, but again, I recommend it, especially if you don't make creme brulees too often and there's a chance that you might have cooked a little bit of the eggs when you poured that hot cream inside the egg mixture. Just put a fine mesh sieve over a spouted measuring cup and pour it through that. The fine mesh sieve will catch any little clumps of eggs that might have cooked a little bit. You just never know. I say better be safe than sorry. And as you can see, not all of the batter fit into this spouted measuring cup. I know this would fit a lot better in this one, but these kinds tend to kind of drip on the sides and it just gets messy. I prefer to just pour a little bit at a time, but this kind is my favorite. The spout works amazing and I'll make sure to link it in the notes as well. And the next step is to distribute the custard into each little ramekin. I recommend starting with a little bit in each and then adding more as you go so it's a nice even amount, because if you pour a lot in one and then you realize, oh shoot, the last one is like so small, it's left behind. That's why just do a little at a time so it's nice and even. Now preheat your oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit and then carefully transfer the custard into the oven. And then you want to bake them for about 25 to 30 minutes. A good way to tell if your creme brulee is done is by giving the the ramekin a little shake, and if it still gives a little in the middle, it's done cooking. I know it might look like it's underbaked, but don't worry, it's gonna continue firming up, especially in the fridge. Now let the ramekins cool in the water at room temperature for a few hours. Once it's room temperature, you wanna cover them with a little bit of plastic wrap, transfer them into the fridge for at least 4 hours, or even up to like 3 to 4 days. And now the fun part, and probably the most challenging part, is caramelizing that sugar on top of the creme brulee. I recommend starting with about a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half of sugar. It really depends on the size of your ramekin. If you have like the wider ones that are shallow, you're definitely gonna need more sugar. But most of them are the standard 4-ounce round ones, and that's the ones I used. Start with about a teaspoon of sugar. And honestly, you do not want a lot of sugar. When there's too thick of a layer, it's really hard to get a nice good caramelization because you're trying to get like a thick layer of that sugar to be caramelized, and you just run into the issue of burning it, which that's no fun. So start off with a pretty thin layer, and I recommend when you're torching it, hold the ramekin very carefully and just slightly spin it as you're moving the torch in like a circular motion, going in like a circle. I hope that makes sense. You just want to constantly move the flame, because if you just keep it in one spot, you're gonna burn it and it's not gonna be good. If it's your first time, the first one might burn, and that's totally fine. The first one's always the guinea pig, and that's okay. But after a few, I'm sure you'll get it. It's really quite simple once you do it a few times. And now the fun part, you get to crack into that delicious caramelized sugar crust and enjoy it. My favorite part about creme brulees is the contrasting textures and flavors. You get that hard crust from the sugar, and then that creamy, delicious custard, and then it's like a warm and then a cold. It's a match made in heaven. It is so good. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to my channel, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. That's amazing.